Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to confess that I don't normally watch The View. In fact, I don't even non-normally watch The View. In fact, I did not watch The View at any other time except for now in clip form when Meghan McCain had the opportunity to sit down from James Comey and to really let James Comey have it. This is like one of those things like where it's like Godzilla versus Mothra, where you're not really sure who to root for, but you just hope that the city is still standing after they fight.
I can't wait for the Frost-Nixon remake.
Oh, or that they destroy each other.
Yeah.
Director Comey, you know, you're not naive to the criticism you've gotten from Republicans and Democrats. And I think it's worth noting that David Axelrod, a big Democrat who's a former chief strategist to President Obama, said, "I have no doubt about its brilliance when it comes to book sales. Maybe he should have called it higher royalties." What do you say to people like him and people like me that think you're just doing this for money and attention?
Yeah, first thing I do is ask him to read the book. And I'm not saying he should agree with me, but if he reads the book...
All right, but I'm sorry. I just want to take a slight assessment of this. Meghan McCain is suggesting that that James Comey wrote his book for money and attention. Money and attention.
And I just like totally don't go like that. Like money and attention, like as an example, like using your trust fund to get a totally unearned media career, like not cool.
Let's see. In 2010, Meghan McCain came out with Dirty Sexy Politics, I think was the name of her book.
So like if you did a book with like Michael Ian Black where you were just like, I'm like a Republican, but I also like to get like sloshed, that's different. But like a memoir of your time like in the FBI and the president and whatnot and such is like attention seeking.
You can get Dirty Sexy Politics by Meghan McCain, who was and she's riding atop an elephant. And then, of course, she wrote My Dad, John McCain. Now, I understand the higher purpose in which she wrote these books for. She did write one with Michael Ian Black, which was America, You Sexy Bitch, A Letter to Freedom.
She's written 3 books?
America, You Sexy Bitch was like an analysis of things and such.
I got to get on that.
I just wanted to, my point being, she's qualified to ask that question. All right.
We'll see. I'm trying to make choices between bad options and doing it in a way that I think you would want someone as director of the FBI to do it. So even if you leave the book still thinking I'm an idiot, you realize I'm actually kind of an honest idiot, and I'm not on anybody's side.
I would never think anyone who got to your level is an idiot. I would never accuse anyone of that.
I would.
I think
Pause
that
it. I would actually like to say that I think this guy was sort of idiotic. I mean, if his agenda was to insulate Hillary Clinton from criticism, not only did he countervail like one of the primary directives of the Department of Justice in public corruption cases. I mean, the primary directive, which is you do not go public with these charges in the weeks before an election, even months, I think. I mean, this is a primary directive that I know for a fact he delivered himself to U.S. attorneys as part of their orientation. And his ability to predict the implications of this were pretty idiotic. So I think, I buy I may be dumb, but I'm honest-ish. I mean, I don't know where it fits in to do the things that he did in terms of spying on Muslims and God knows what else. But
he also used to work in private equity and military contractors.
Well, he's just talking in the context of being an FBI agent. Like he's dumb, but honest in those instances.
Can I just add?
If we didn't hate him enough already for being a cop, these are more reasons.
Can I just?
Well, I don't hate him for being a cop per se, but
can I just add something that I think is germane here?
Yes.
Meghan McCain's incredibly stupid.
All right, Michael, your
Yes.
assessment of her
Yes.
intelligence. There you go.
I'll just flag. She sounds a bit like Ben Shapiro in her delivery.
I'm
on
sorry,
this.
but do you really
learning
think that
from
she?
Ben
Excuse me.
Shapiro.
Do you really think that she would land on The View if that was the case, Michael? Why don't you reassess?
I just had to look this up because I thought Dirty Sexy Politics must have been you misremembering the title.
Wrong.
But it's real.
Oh no, yeah, no.
I'm like, no one would name their book something that stupid.
I guess
Well,
my question to
sorry.
you is like, does your mom own, like, is she the heiress of a beer fortune and such? And like, where do you get off like doing things in like that way?
Who got to your level is an idiot. I would never accuse anyone of that. I think that maybe J. Edgar Hoover is rolling over in his grave at saying the types of things you're saying and revealing the types of things you're revealing. It doesn't seem like something that the director of the FBI. Why are you laughing at me?
Because J. Edgar, really, he's the wrong guy to bring up.
Thank you.
What dress he's wearing. Yeah.
But he didn't write a tell-all when he left.
Yeah.
So
Well,
say that he was
excuse me.
trans-
I will say he did not write a tell-all because had he done so, he probably would have wound up in
He'd
prison,
be in
right?
prison.
I mean, he'd be in prison.
He not only did stuff that we all know as good lefties, like try to get MLK to commit suicide, COINTELPRO to like, you know,
used his
disrupt-
power
he
to
also
blackmail politicians.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Even just in the politics game, you know what? Like, yeah, if James Comey went into office and was like, actually, here's the deal, Donald. I do have evidence that you get pissed on. I'm not going to let it out because you're going to let me run an entire domestic spying apparatus.
Truman said the dude was setting up a Gestapo agency. Like I don't know if he said that exactly, but he said more or less like Hoover's a real problem.
Oh my God, Hoover, you crazy, sexy bitch.
Yeah, how
Well,
many people has Comey Gestapo'd?
I'm sorry, I couldn't think of another FBI agent to say was rolling in their grave.
Hoover died in office because he would never leave the
Literally,
agency.
because no, the same reason Putin stays in power, because he would get indicted. Like his criminality was so vast. Well, she's gonna be like, I meant Ben Hoover, who was like a special agent, like in the 70s.
Can we just go back to where Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg are laughing at their co-host because they can't help but
in his grave or accuse anyone of that. I think that maybe J. Edgar Hoover is rolling over in his grave at saying the types of things you're saying and revealing the types of things you're revealing. It doesn't seem like something that the director of the FBI. Why are you laughing at me?
Because J. Edgar, really, he's the wrong guy to bring up. I wonder what dress he's wearing.
Yeah. But he didn't write a tell-all when he left.
Yeah.
So
Did he
that's the
say that
point
he was
there.
a trans?
Can I finish my
Yeah.
question?
Yeah.
Just saying, director.
Yeah.
So what would you say to that?
That I don't think of it as a tell-all. It's a whole lot more than the stories that are in the last few chapters of the book. It's about mistakes I've made, things I'm very much ashamed.
Now here's where Comey reveals himself to be somewhat dishonest, because the honest answer to that question, what do you say to that, is the idea that I could be FBI director and J. Edgar Hoover was rolling around in his grave would be a compliment. And you clearly are way out of your depth to even ask a basic question.
You mean like he stops the whole like, I'm just an avuncular ditzy guy who's scared about Trump, and he looks at her and he glares and he's like, listen to me, you young dim-witted moron. I've put more innocent people in prison than you can even count.
I think my whole point is that I have integrity, and you have just compared me to the worst FBI director.
I mean, you guys want to talk about politics and history, but the fact remains that J. Edgar Hoover did not write a tell-all when he left the FBI.
That is true.
Right about that.
Yeah, you're really getting the essential point there and such. Of that, he
my
looks at her,
God.
he's like, you want to talk about tell-alls? I've done more things. You haven't really stared into the void until you've put a retarded
Does anybody know when?
Chechnyan kid in jail for life because we tricked him into sending a Facebook message about Al-Qaeda.
That's right.
You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Now turn away.
Who do you think she's going to get mad at when she walks off the set because of that J. Edgar Hoover thing? Like, is there somebody like...
No, this was the same thing. There's that clip. I've had to play it. I'm sorry that her interlocutors were so obnoxious, but it was an old real-time clip where she's out and she's like, Obama needs, and this is like a couple weeks into Obama, like, he needs to stop blaming Bush and like do that job. And Paul Begala is like, actually, he doesn't blame Bush remotely enough. And, Reagan did X to Carter. And she goes, yeah, I wasn't alive then, so I wouldn't know. And then Begala goes, well, I wasn't alive during the French Revolution, but I know about it. And then the audience claps, and then Meghan McCain goes, oh, c'est dumb blood. I got it. And then she went on The View. Because basically the only purpose of Meghan McCain's life is to just be a walking specimen that just says, Piketty's right, Piketty's right, Piketty's right, Piketty's right, Piketty's right. Intergenerational wealth, intergenerational wealth, intergenerational wealth.
I'll tell you something. It does take a certain, a particular quality to go on The View and get laughed off for being simplistic.
She's supposed to be like, comes from politics too.
Right.
Like the others, people comes from entertainment.
Right.
I'm sure McCain at some point was like, Hoover, that old fruit, he dressed in dresses, but he knew how to take care of the goddamn hippies. She must have heard that at some point in between asking for allowance money.